Today, Senator Bernie Sanders and New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are introducing a new bill to help Americans deal with increasing amounts of debt. According to the Federal Reserve, as of March, Americans held more than $1 trillion worth of credit card debt, and the average interest rate on that debt is 17.73%. That's according to creditcards.com. The bill looks to cap credit card interest rates at 15%, laying out historical interest rates as a roadmap. They're also taking on payday lenders who can charge, ready for this, between 300 and 900% interest rates on loans. The bill caps those at 15%, just like credit cards. And it also allows low-income communities to do much of their banking at the post office. It is something that might sound a little strange. From the early 1900s into the early 1960s, that's exactly what the post office did. Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez argue that this option would allow low-income Americans access to financial systems and prevent them from becoming prey to payday lenders and other high-interest options. It's compelling, Allie.
It is compelling. It's worth talking about. Joining us now is Vermont Senator and 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. Senator, good to see you. Thank you for being with us again. Here's a question Stephanie and I were talking about just before we started this segment. If interest rates otherwise are set by the market, why have you decided that a 15% cap is where to go? Because what happens if we get into a world where interest rates for mortgages and otherwise are higher? Shouldn't it be sort of a range that's related to something like the prime rate?
Well, first of all, Ali, what we should understand and what makes what banks are doing today so outrageous is they are borrowing money at 2.5%, and half of the people who are paying interest rates are paying more on credit cards, are paying more than 21%. Right. So if your point is that if interest rates go up, might the maximum go up, that is also included in the legislation.
Okay. All right, so what this would do, as you just articulated, is it would cut sharply into profits for lenders, the banks that make these loans and issue these credit cards. Do you have concern that because of that, the banking lobby is very, very strong and they influence a lot of your colleagues, as you have known for the last few decades?
Do I have concerns about that? Well, that's kind of an understatement. Look, you got Wall Street and the drug companies and the insurance companies basically running the United States Congress. That's why the rich are getting richer and so many people are struggling. But I think here, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you have a profound moral issue. Every major religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, every religion understands that usury and loan sharking are immoral. And let's call this what it is. This is loan sharking. Now, I don't know that the well-paid executives on Wall Street go around breaking people's fingers or their kneecaps. But what they are doing, and think about this, half of the American people today have no wealth at all. They're living paycheck to paycheck. You got a medical emergency, your car breaks down. These are desperate people. And then they go to Wall Street and they're charged outrageous interest rates. Wall Street profits are soaring. People get further and further in debt while wages remain stagnant. This really is disgusting. And we have to stand up to the greed of Wall Street and change it.
Is there any avenue to work in a productive way? And the reason I say this is because payday lending is the best example. We saw great strides to protect our most vulnerable Americans against payday lenders in the last few years.
Under the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Correct.
And now the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has had its lights knocked out, and we know how powerful and wealthy the lobby is of payday lenders. And obviously those vulnerable Americans can't go up against that kind of lobby. So is there some sort of way to work with banks on finding a common ground? Because the risk we run is flip-flopping administrations just going all the way one direction or the other. Because for those vulnerable Americans, it's devastating that we're right back to where we were before 2008 as far as regulation goes.
It is devastating, and it is, I can't use the word outrageous when we talk about the Trump administration. I guess that's become a hackneyed expression. It happens every day. But to make it easier for payday lenders to get blood out of a stone is really disgraceful. Can you work with the banks? Yeah, maybe, but I have my doubts. Look, this is what I believe, and I think many Americans agree, whether it is Wall Street, whether it is the pharmaceutical industry, where the top 10 companies made $69 billion in profits last year while charging us the highest prices in the world. Whether it's the insurance companies who are going to end up spending $100 million trying to defeat Medicare for all, whether it's the fossil fuel industry that's destroying the planet and lying about it. We are taking on an incredible amount of corporate greed, unlimited amounts of money, lobbying power, campaign contributions. And what the American people really have got to do, this is not rhetoric, this is reality. They got to stand up and say enough is enough. We need an economy that works for all people, not just the people on top.
Senator, we just talked to Congressman Moulton about health care. He doesn't support a Medicare for all or a version of a single-payer system. As you and I have talked about before, I grew up in Canada, so I am partial to a single-payer system. But I wonder with Medicare for all, why do you think it wouldn't have been more reasonable to retool the Affordable Care Act to work as it was initially conceived but not executed, as an insurance pool where everybody's in it, old and sick, young and healthy, with the young and healthy offsetting the costs for the old and sick? Talk to me about the thinking about why not retool that but go to a Medicare for all system.
Ali, because you have a dysfunctional system. That's all. It is a dysfunctional system in which, tens of millions are uninsured or underinsured. We pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, and we end up spending twice as much per capita on health care as do the people of Canada or any other nation. And you got to get to the root of that. And the root of the current health care system is that it is not designed to provide quality care to all people. You can argue about the strengths and weaknesses of the Canadian system or every other major country on Earth's systems, but they are all designed to provide quality care to all people. Our system is designed to make huge profits for the insurance companies and the drug companies. And not only is that problematic, it creates an unbelievably complicated bureaucracy where we spend hundreds of billions of dollars on administration and billing and distorting healthcare priorities such that we have a very weak primary healthcare system, which not only is absolutely imperative, it wastes enormous money if people can't walk into a doctor's office when they should. So the priorities are distorted, massive amounts of bureaucracy, massive amounts of profit taking, and that system has got to change. And by the way, I would add to it, Medicare today for the elderly is the most popular health insurance program in America. And what we are proposing is over a 4-year period. Today, 65 years of age and older, you're in Medicare. Take it down to 55. Take it down.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.